Hello, lovely people. It is a beautiful day here at the meeting place of heaven and earth. I am trying to make sure all my stuff is set up. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to be reading from the Holy Megillah. But first, let us say a prayer. God and Goddess, thank you so much for this lovely December day. Thank you so much for those beautiful birds that squawking away and singing their joyful songs. Please help us all to be loving and kind. Help us to align ourselves with the true path that our soul desires us to be on. Help us to accomplish the goals that we came in here to achieve. Help us to not get lost and distracted and tumble down the ladder. Help us to rise and to lift others up as well. Show us ways that we can be loving and kind to others. Help us to see different ways to spread our light in this world and become all the best that we can be. In the name of Elohim, I pray. Amen. Hopefully, my controls here are going to work. But if not, I will just use this, I guess. Today on the Nazarene calendar, it is Mine Day, and the prayer is Our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. To all the helpful thoughts of my mind, send your angel of power. And hopefully I can get this working, but if not, like I mentioned, I'm going to be reading from the Holy Megillah Nasarean Bible of the Essene Way, translated by Dave Greenleaf and available at essene.org. Woohoo! My tech is working now. We are kind of in the beginning. I was going to say the middle, but we really have barely touched the surface. The beginning of the Nazarean book of Genesis, which is so different than the version that we read in the mainstream Bible. Sorry, my pages are so loud. I can't even use this Bible in church because my pages are so crunchy because my Bible took a dip in the lake. It was baptized. Anyways, this book of Genesis, this story of creation is so beautiful. If you haven't seen the other past few 2 or 3 videos that I've posted, I would definitely encourage you to because it is so beautiful, even bringing me to tears in a little bit. Thankfully, I was able to hold it together. But that story of creation where Jah asks, "How will I create my children?" and Jahlah's face appears in Ein Sof like that is just so beautiful. So, anyways, we're going to continue on here today, and hopefully, these are not looking like they're set up the right way that I had them organized, but we're just going to roll with the punches as they may happen. So, chapter 6, the great dance of Jahday and Jahnah. It was ordained by Jaja that Jahday and Jahnah would be saviors of the children of the mother Ovum, for it would be through the merciful intervention of Lord Christ and Lady Christ that Jaja would intervene in the pain of evolving beings and worlds. Yea, for this purpose, Jaja anointed the Lord and Lady with oil from the tree of life, which oil is the water of life. But behold, it was also ordained by Jaja that Jahday and Jahnah would be the father god and mother goddess of the children of the mother ovum. And it was ordained in the plan of Jaja, which was engraved within Jahday and Jahnah, that the mother ovum would be a universe of space, time, numbers, letters, forms, elements, and principles, in which the children of the mother ovum, hopefully becoming holy, would play, learn, and work. Thus, the first duty of Jahday and Jahnah was that of creation. Yea, the dance of creation was their dance. Before the beginning of their dance, the mother ovum was Bohu, a dark void of desolate emptiness. And this void was Tohu, without form. And this void was dark because there was yet no Aor HaBahir. no light of illumination. And this void was desolate because the spirit of Yah was with Elohim in Dimsum. Remember, we talked about Dimsum being that self constriction down to a point. Then, bursting outward in ecstasy from Dimsum into Bohu, the spiral dance of creation began. Behold, Elohim Karim, which is to say, Elohim dances. Elohim danced the Karar Ha'or, the dance of light, a whirling motion with the sound of a hum. And the hum of the light dance is the music of their dance. And the music of their dance is one with the lyrics of their song. And those lyrics are the words sung by they who dance. And they who dance are Jahday and Jahnah, our god and goddess immanent, Elohim. And the lyrics they sang while they danced the dance of light are the words of light. Yehi or, which is to say, let there be light. Lo, Elohim sang, let there be light, and there was light. And Elohim knew that the light was good. And when the light entered Bohu, the darkness of the void, the light comprehended the darkness, but the darkness comprehended not the light. And the spiral dance was the Tha'ara, the whirlwind. And the whirlwind was the breath of Yah upon the void, being the air of being upon the void of non-being. And from the Sa'ara came forth sparks of light, Nitzat Ha'or. And each spark of light is a seed of light, a Zerah Ha'or. And each seed of light is a soul, a Nefesh, a spiritual being. Behold, Elohim created each being in the embryonic likeness, image and likeness of Elohim, male and female, each wearing Yah as a crown of glory. And the image is manifest in the attributes. Yea, Jahday and Jahnah danced their dance of creation. In the balance of their embrace, they danced. And always the center of their dance was Yah, which is I am, which is their oneness, which is the crown of glory. Lo, their balance was not without motion. It was balance in motion. He spun around her and she spun around him, and always they were centered in Yah. Lo, Yah is the center of the all and of every aspect of the all. Yah is the center of the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect. For behold, those aspects exist for the expansion of Yah and the bliss of Yah, according to the gracious wish. And this is Yahweh. Yea, Yahweh is the great dance of creation. Jahday and Jahnah danced in ecstasy. The dance of Jahday and Jahnah was according to the divine plan of Jah. Jahday and Jahnah knew that the mother ovum was to be a sphere symbolized by the circle, and they danced that dance. Lo, the void of potential space became the sphere of actual space. And they knew that the point at the center of the sphere, the point symbolized by the yod, which is the crown of Yah, would be the center of every ovum within the mother ovum. And they danced that dance, and it was so. And they knew that the expansion of being, which is Yahweh, is symbolized by the sacred triangle, in which the first point emanates 2 points, a masculine point and a feminine point, forming a trinity that will birth countless trinities, each trinity in the image and likeness of the first trinity, each centered in Yah. And they dance the dance of the sacred triangle. Lo, the motion of their dance wove a tapestry of geometric shapes and numerical patterns, and shapes and patterns within shapes and patterns. And all shapes and patterns were within the sphere, which is the mother ovum. Behold, they danced the dances of the 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry. And the first of those 5 dances was the dance of the sacred tetrahedron. Should have the ability to put this up here. Cool. 4 faces, 4 vertices, and 6 edges. For the tetrahedron is the expression of the sacred triangle in its expansive power as the Trinity that becomes Trinities. And the second of those 5 dances was the dance of the sacred hexahedron of 6 faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. And the third of those dances was the dance of the sacred octahedron. I should just leave it big for you, sorry. Of 8 faces, 6 vertices, and 12 edges. And the fourth of those 5 dances was the dance of the sacred dodecahedron of 12 faces, 20 vertices, and 30 edges. And the fifth and final of the 5 dances was the dance of the sacred icosahedron of 20 faces, 12 vertices, and 30 edges. Yea, and the 5 polyhedrons of perfect symmetry within the sphere, added to the sphere, make 6 sacred geometries, but all 6 have their origin in the first point, and the point added to the 6 make the 7 most sacred geometries. There's a video by, that video is called the Platonic Solids by Professor Polyhedron. If you want to look into that, he kind of dives into some more of their science. Lo, within the sphere of the sacred 7, the dance of the geometries and numerical patterns continued. Yea, the geometries and numerical patterns combined and merged, mated and gave birth to other sacred geometries and patterns. And those geometries and patterns were the expressions of the divine principles of form in space. For Elohim desired to prepare a home for the children of Yah. And that home was a maze of geometries, making many homes within the one home that is the mother ovum. Yea, the mansion of the mother ovum is many houses that are one home. And for each child of Elohim, Elohim has prepared a place. And when a child pierces one ovum, that child moves to the next ovum. And when a child pierces even the mansion of the mother ovum, that child will enter heaven most high. And the Karar Yetzirah, which is the dance of formation, was not only of geometry, but also letters and numbers. Yea, Jahday and Jahnah, our Elohim, danced Sefer HaChaim, which is the book of life. And the book of life was written with sacred letters and sacred numbers. Behold, the letters of that dance are 22, and all their combinations. And the numbers are that dance are 10, and all their combinations. Lo, the 10 and the 22 make one sefer, one book, which is one Sippur, communication, from one Sa'ara, one whirlwind. So it makes one book, which is one communication from one whirlwind. Behold, the 22 Otiot Kedoshat. I'm still working on my Hebrew, which is to say, sacred letters from one Sa'ara. We have the 3 creators, the 7 doubles, and the 12 spokes. Let me turn myself. Behold, the three creators, Mem, Shin, and Aleph. The three creators are the creative letters. Mem hums and is calming and cooling. Mem is the feminine principle manifesting as primal water. Primal water is Mayim ha Shamayim, the water of heaven. Sheen hisses like fire and is active and warming. Sheen is the masculine principle manifesting as primal fire. Primal fire is Esh ha Shamayim, the fire of heaven. Aleph is the Kether, the crown of Yah, manifested as the primal air of being that emanates, animates, and mediates the masculine and feminine aspects for the purpose of creative expansion, which is Yahweh, in fulfillment of the gracious wish. The air of being is Yah, and even Jahnah, the holy breath, has her life in Yah. For Yah is being, which is primal air, which is Aleph. Yea, breath is an expression of air and is dependent on air. For a breath without air is not a breath of life, but a breath of death. And even Jahday, the holy word, is dependent upon Yah, the spiritual air of being. For a spoken word without air is not a word of life, but a word of death. Behold, even as earthly water and earthly fire depend on earthly air for their life, so do primal water and primal fire have their life in primal air. But so does Aleph, the primal air of being, depend on its masculine and feminine emanations for the creative expansion of being. Yea, and for the bliss of one another, which is the bliss of the lover and the beloved, which is the fulfillment of the gracious wish. Elohim danced the letter Aleph and ordained that it designate primal air, which is the air of being. And Elohim made Aleph to sit as a crown atop the head of each living soul. Lo, every being shall wear Aleph as a crown, and the crown has 7 points, as the tree of life has 7 branches. And each point of the crown is adorned with a jewel, each a precious stone of different color, each stone symbolizing the fruit of the branch, symbolized by each point of the Kether HaKodesh, which is the holy crown. Elohim danced the letter Shin, and Elohim danced the letter Mem. Then Elohim mated Shin with Mem, and both Shin and Mem were crowned. Yea, Aleph was placed upon their heads. Lo, primal air, primal fire, and primal water, 3 creators in one Trinity. Behold, the dance of the 3 creative letters gave birth to the 7 double letters. Lo, the 7 double letters are each one letter with 2 voices, aspirated and unaspirated. Go back to these. When you learn regular Hebrew, you'll learn Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, He, Resh, and Tav. So those are the normal ones that are in the mainstream Hebrew. They just don't tell us about the other. The 7 doubles symbolize the divine way of ascension upon the golden ladder, which is the way of progress through realms of 7, each realm having 7 heavens, the presiding star of each realm being the 7th heaven, the birth garden of each realm being the 1st heaven. Yea, this is the ascension through realms of relatively crude matter and consciousness to realms of relatively refined matter and consciousness, each realm consisting of 7 heavens, each heaven a wheel with 12 spokes. Behold, if a world becomes too crude to maintain its place in the heavenly hierarchy of ascending worlds, it will drop into the hierarchy of fallen worlds. And those fallen worlds are hell realms. And within each world are the divine attributes, which are the image and likeness of Jahdah, though in the lower realms few see them. Yea, and the divine attributes are symbolized by the roots and branches of the tree of life. Oh, I switched it right at the wrong time. Sorry about that. Need to have somebody else do my next side. Okay. Bet is the beginning of the first heaven. The het is the ending. So we have the same word but with the H in there. Gimel is the beginning of the second heaven. Gimel is the ending. Dalet is the beginning of the third heaven. Talet is the ending. Like I said, I'm still working on my Hebrew, so if you have more insight on the H, I would love to hear that. Kaf is the beginning of the fourth heaven, and Kaf is the ending. Pei is the beginning of the fifth heaven. Pei is the ending. Resh is the beginning of the sixth heaven. Resh is the ending. Tav is the beginning of the seventh heaven. Tav is the ending. And each beginning is a doorway into the cellar of a heaven, each ending a doorway out of the upper room of a heaven. Yet the beginning and the ending are always unified by the spiral stairway, which is the golden ladder. Yea, because the 7 doubles are each one letter with 2 voices, one hard and one soft, with the hard moving through space and time to become a softer manifestation of the same self, they symbolize the ascension upon the golden ladder from the relatively crude and dark worlds of dense matter to the relatively refined and rarefied worlds of supernal light. Lo, the 3 creative letters that gave birth to the 7 doubles also gave birth to the 12 letters of Ophan Zedek, the wheel of righteousness. Lo, the righteous wheel is also a revolving wheel, which is Ha Ophan Ha Gilgal. And the revolving wheel is the wheel of times and seasons and cycles, which is the wheel of constellations, which is Ha Ophan Ha Mazalot. Behold, oh, that's not the right one. I think I was on the wrong one for that time. Sorry about that. Behold, the revolving wheel has 12 spokes. The Shanaim Asar Shishukim. And each spoke connects the hub with the rim, passing through every level of every world of the mother ovum. And the 12 letters that symbolize the 12 spokes are He, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Het, Yod, Lamed, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Zadi, and Kuf. Yea, each dance of Jahday and Jahnah created and continues to create countless worlds, for it is Karar Adeh Ad, the dance of an eternity of eternities. Lo, the 12 spokes pass through countless worlds and countless constellations. In our world, we see the 12 spokes in 12 constellations. Sorry that it keeps, when I change devices, it always puts my things in the wrong spaces. So it's very frustrating. So we have the 12 constellations and what they are in according to the Holy Megillah. Mazalat Tele, which is the constellation of the Ram, letter Kuf. Mazalat Shor, which is the constellation of the bull, letter Lamed. Mazalat Tumim, which is the constellation of the twins, letter Ayin. Mazalat Sartan, which is the constellation of the crab, letter Sadi. Mazalat Ari, which is the constellation of the lion, letter Vav. Mazalat Betula, which is the constellation of the Virgin, letter Chet. Mazalat Maznayim, which is the constellation of the scales, letter Shamek. Mazalat Akrab, which is the constellation of the scorpion, letter Tet. Mazalat Keshet, which is the constellation of the archer, letter Zayin. Mazalat Gedi, which is the constellation of the goat, letter He. Mazalat Delhi, which is the constellation of the water drawer, letter Yod. And finally, Mazalat Daga, which is the constellation of the fish, letter Nun. That takes us to chapter 7, and that was a lot to take in. So cool how it literally incorporates sacred geometry and the creation of numbers and letters into the very fabric of creation. And although we do see the word planet and this idea of other worlds in the Megillah, we see from the very beginning that everything is happening within the mother ovum, and there are worlds within worlds. It's a mansion with many rooms. It's such a cool, oops, I'll go back to me only. It's such a cool picture of creation and that feminine and masculine divine, again, the sacred geometry and all of that kind of stuff wrapped together in it. Like I was saying, I recently just learned the basic Hebrew alphabet, and it seems, I mean, at least only judging, actually, I shouldn't even say it seems, but um, when you study the Hebrew alphabet in the Holy Megillah and you study what is publicly available, they are the same letters. It doesn't mention in the mainstream version the seven doubles, so there's some details that are a little bit different. But the letters themselves are the same, which is very fascinating. Um, and yeah, it'll be really cool. Like I said, I'm just scratching the surface with learning Hebrew, and I love how even in the Megillah, it has different Hebrew words in there and explains them as well, so that we're getting those magical words. Hebrew is, according to the Megillah, the language of the cherubim, right? And this divine language that has even magical, not only magical words, but magical pronunciations, ways to pronounce the words. Everything that we're doing, our thoughts, words, and deeds, especially our thoughts and our words, these are spells, these are things that are being added to, right? When you sit and ruminate on a thought, you're adding power to that thought. When we speak things, life and death are in the power of the tongue, right? We can literally speak things into existence. There's so much power that we have that most of us are just, on autopilot, doing, unfortunately, exactly what the world wants us to do. We just wake up, go to a job, come home, watch mindless entertainment, eat garbage food, rinse and repeat until you die, and not using our powers for good. Think of all of that power that everyone is using and how it's literally empowering by default the powers that be, because they have created this system where almost all the programming and actions that we're taught are in line with their false matrix and fueling it. So every breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between, you're literally fueling the enslavement, the suffering, the degradation of humanity and the world around us. And that's usually not even knowing it, right? So many people are, yeah, on autopilot, just using their power for bad. And it's a great thing to think about on Mind Day, the things that we are empowering with our thoughts, words, and deeds. David G says, took a swim. Now the pages crackle. Oh, regarding my Megillah, I thought you were going to tell us that you took a swim. It is kind of a nice day, but I don't know. I guess, yeah, I definitely wouldn't be swimming around here. I'm not really sure how warm it is down south where you are, but thankfully it's like 50 some degrees here in Mount Shasta. So that's really nice. God and Goddess danced the dance of light and spoke the words of light, let there be light. And the light of reality came into being. Absolutely. And we've read a few different scripture passages that literally have that, where there's darkness, let there be light, where there's void, let there be light, where the spider dominates in darkness over the gnat, all of these different things to bring light into the situations. And kind of mentioned before about how you might not be so sure how to fix something, but you could literally just chant let there be light and allow that space for God and Goddess to come in to create whatever light is needed in that situation. Dude, he says, reminds me of all those fancy dices that they use in various board games. Oh, yeah, definitely. The different sacred geometrical patterns. I have yet to touch the surface on that sacred geometry, but I know that there is so much cool information hidden within a sacred geometry. Part of even the way of illumination, the commands essentially, or the precepts given to the skilled tradesman that was actually using and incorporating sacred geometry into your builds. God bless you. Into your builds, whether you're building something or like this says talks like mason, the builders, the masons, and all other tradesmen that repair whatever your craft is, incorporating sacred geometry in it, even if you're painting or drawing or whatever you're doing, gardening even can be, you can incorporate sacred geometry into that. So it's really really cool stuff. The book of life was the original 22 Hebrew letters, the alphabet you recently mastered. Exactly. Yeah, and how cool is that? I'm gonna have to follow up with the pronunciation of the letter, the ones with the H in it. But yeah, I gotta move spaces. Cool. Mike the mechanic says, "Hi, Nana. Hello, Mike. How's it going?" Let's move this over here. So that sweet. Okay. David D says Hebrew isn't just another language to learn. It was the original divine language used to in creation of reality itself, right? Isn't that so cool? I'm not really sure if I'm glitching on your end or not, but I'm glitching on my end, so hopefully that is not the case. I know that I started a little bit late today, but I was trying to get some of those graphics ready and having some technical difficulties, but I'm thankful that I finally made it. I also wanted to show you, which I really haven't even gotten to crack the surface yet. This is Dave Greenleaf's new book, Essene Joy Yoga, and I was there at the unboxing of these books and got one of the first copies. So I'm so excited to, super excited to have this. I did crack the book, and the first chapter is a lot to digest because it defines a bunch of words. And it's kind of funny because I'm like, oh, this is a lot to take in. And it is. But I also recently was trying to look into the government like stable coin and try to read what this Genius Act, is it Genius or I think it's Genius. Um, what this act is all about, and like I'm almost falling asleep because I it's like the first whole page after page after page, it's just definitions, and that's one of the ways that they pass all these ridiculous laws, and then they'll get you to vote for something that you think is good on the surface, but then it's like 100 pages and it has like all of these fine lines and all the different ways that they just it just reminds me of like this picture of essentially Satan with a contract, and it just like goes and goes and goes, and it's like, I won't read that. I'll just skip to the end and go and sign it, right? And that's how they basically get us. And I mean, there's so many different ways they get us to, but yeah. Anyways, really cool about the dance of the polyhedrons and how all of this is taking place within the mother ovum, how they understood the plan and that it was there was the potential for this plan to happen. Just like with Ein Sof, it's like the potential, the infinite possibilities, the realm of infinite possibilities. And you reach into the realm of infinite possibilities and you take something out. It's kind of like the cauldron teachings, which we'll get into. But your inner cauldron being, your thoughts, your inner life, everything that you're putting inside, and that is going to manifest in different ways coming out. So it's really, really important. Hopefully today during Mind Day, you will take some time to fill your mind with really great things. I personally will be diving into the Megillah. I also have some planning to do for the Nasarean 8-8 gathering, which we've kind of changed directions just a little bit in that for the public segment, we're just going to focus on promoting a Lions Gate Nazarene gathering on 8/8 and have a dance party, have some music, have the special guest speakers, and some Nazarene magic. And then the rest of the time that we have will be kind of a private group thing. So that will be kind of, a selected group. I'm really excited about it and having all of these new things coming about, especially with the final edition of the Megillah coming out and the Order of Yohanan and all of the different little like Nazarene Bible tracks and stuff that I'm going to get to help make. That being said, I'm going to jump off of here and go fill my mind with some lovely things. David, you said Hebrew isn't. Oh, wait, I already read that. Sorry. No, I didn't. Hebrew isn't just another language to learn. It was the original divine language used in creation itself. Sorry, I did read that, but it's good to read again. Um, Sometimes my screen shows me the comments multiple times for some reason, but I definitely agree with that. There's so many people that are spending time learning different languages, and I'm excited personally again to learn Hebrew because it is the divine language, and I think it's going to unlock a lot of different and deeper communication and communion with God and Goddess that I mean it is well, I don't know. I just think that there'll be a deeper level of connection when we can actually speak the same language. So that is my goal. I basically have the mainstream Hebrew alphabet memorized. So I'm going to work on figuring out how those other letters are specifically pronounced and find out the rest of the words in the Megillah and all that. So I'm going to jump off of here, but I hope that you have a wonderful day. May God and the gods bless you.